Hey YouTube, welcome to another video. So in this particular video, we're going to go over a lens I just picked up. And what I like to do, like you guys know from the previous gear review, is I like to go out when I do my open unboxings and actually use the equipment and make that part of my unboxing video. So this is an unboxing of the Fujifilm XF 50mm f1.0. Now I have the 50mm f.2 Fujicron, which I do use for street photography to do my street portraiture and street photography. I know the lens, and here it is, as you can see. And when I do a comparison of the two, you know, there's a big difference between these two. So as far as street photography, this is the one for me to get my portraits in when I want to do a closer up and punch in and I'm using primes. But before I got the 50, I actually shot a lot of my portrait work, and still do, with the 56mm 1.2. So here's that 56mm 1.2. There's the size you can see right there. When I bring up the 51.4, there's that size comparison that you can see right there. So we'll get to some pictures now. As I'm talking about my initial use with this lens, I originally, of course, wanted to see what it can do in the studio. Honestly, when I think of this lens, it makes me think of, and we'll show it here with the lens hood attached so you can all really get a good profile of this. It makes me think of the Sigma 105 that I used to use when I shot Nikon. That lens was super sharp. I love that lens on my Nikon camera when I was doing portraits. I like the detail I got, and I can honestly say for this particular lens, as you guys see the images go across the screen, I was extremely happy with the two studio shots I had. Now I primarily shot high key. I shot at about around an f8 to f11. Sometimes I shot down to f4. I didn't really go into the studio with this lens with the idea of doing a, f1 narrow depth of field, see what this thing can do. What else would I use this for? Well, street definitely is an option, but I wanted to go over the presence of this lens on the camera and the grip having a huge play and how this camera is going to feel with this lens on it. It is a very heavy lens. You're going to definitely feel its presence. I don't particularly get into specs like other YouTubers do when it comes to the grams and all of that stuff, but I will tell you that yes, this lens is beefy, it's heavy. I mean, it's an f1.0. That's a lot of glass. The quality of the lens is fantastic. I've not had any issues with quality with any of the Fuji lenses I own and have used. The only thing, of course, is I always wish I can do something better than the round hood for the lens. As you can see, for the 56, I was able to get a square hood lens, and I think that really looks nice on it. And it's metal, so I like that, and I don't have to worry about that ever breaking. Doesn't get in the way of the lens, no flare issues happens, and I'm able to have a really nice look to the lens, as I actually do from my kit lens that I'm filming this with on the XS10. Now I would not put this on the XS10 for the pure reason that it is a big lens, and just as you see with the 50 on the X Pro 3 and how that profile really works really great for that, look at these guys together. XT4, X Pro 3, and look at that profile. I mean, the lens itself is as big as the X Pro 3 with the lens hood on. So you want to consider that if you ever thinking about using this lens with the camera, how you're going to best set it up for ergonomical use. I shoot a lot with a wrist strap, hand holding my cameras, and even just doing that little demonstration for you guys, my hand felt it, my wrist felt it. There's some definite presence there with the weight of that lens. Now you guys say, okay, Warren, that's great, but you got it for the f1.0. Yes, I did, for sure. And again, for low light photography when I need it. So I actually went out with the XT3 to shoot this in the street, and it was cold. Unfortunately, it's still, you know, winter in Michigan. I think it was like 20 something degrees that evening. I went out, gave it a spin, tried to hang out there as much as I could, and I got some images which you guys are going to start seeing, if not already seeing, across the screen as I review this. And you see that, yes, the image quality is there. When I was able to actually not have to stop down all the way, believe it or not, because there's a lot of ambient light around. So I actually got to the point where I did go to the f1.0 just to see what it would do, but found myself stepping back up to, or stepping the lens down, excuse me, to 2.0, 2.5 back into the threes, because I had a lot of ambient light walking around downtown Ann Arbor doing some little bit of night photography before I packed it up and got too cold and headed on back home. Nuts and bolts and the shorts of the whole thing. Do I like the lens? Yes. I love this lens. I understand the excitement around it for those that have used it. It is very sharp, has great character. It definitely is, can see it taking the place of the 56. If I'm worried about weight, I would say stick with the 56. If the 56 version 2 does come out and it's a weight thing and a cost thing, I would absolutely take the 56 over this, because you're going from a 56 at a 1.2 that will have, especially version 2, hopefully upgraded autofocus mechanisms, to an f1, and as you guys can see, there's a big difference between these two. Okay, would I use it for street photography? Yeah, why not? I mean, it all depends on what I'm trying to do. Would I use it for portrait work? That is exactly what I'm planning on using this for, and mostly using this for. So with that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick unboxing / initial thoughts / photos to give you guys an idea about this lens, and if you might think it's right for you, definitely leave comments in the comment section on what you guys thought about the pictures and what you think about my initial thoughts on the use of this lens, and definitely hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, show me some love. Trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark as a goal this year. So thanks again, YouTube, and you guys have a great day.